Good morning. I'm going to tell you a story about somebody that I know, that I care about. Actually, this is somebody that I care about quite a bit. I love them, and I also really like them. They've been close to me for a little while now, and I'm not going to name names. I'm going to be very careful with this. Actually, some of you might go like, "Oh, is this me? Is this me?" Don't worry about this, okay? I'm not going to give you any identifying details. This person is a brilliant human being, and they lack focus. And the lack of focus that they have as they chase baubles and different thoughts and come into their heads, and they focus on whatever comes up in the moment, what happens is it costs them time, it costs them energy, it costs them money, it costs them relationship with people. People feel uncared for around them. They end up losing money and time and energy because they make mistakes, and they burn things, and they destroy things, and they, like, whatever it is, right, around them. The reason this is such a problem is that it's a problem for a lot of people. This is something that I struggled with greatly. And maybe you're thinking to yourself right now, hey, I know that person you're talking about. Maybe you're saying, hey, that person is me. Well, listen, there are actually some simple fixes to focus. And there are many fixes. You can train your mind to focus on certain activities or tasks or things for a period of time. Focus on your breathing. This is a simple way. Focus on your breathing for just a little bit longer every day. If you do that for a month, you will have focus for at least 5 or 10 minutes, which is brilliant. And you can do this in other ways. But what I'm going to suggest, especially when it comes down to business, is simply focus on your priorities. I have an activity that I do on an annual basis, and maybe I'll attach a link here somewhere. But I've got a YouTube video that I just produced for some of my clients, and what I do on an annual basis is I focus on my priorities, and then I ask myself, what are my goals, and what is my plan to get there? And the more time I spend thinking about that, the more it trains my brain to think about that. Have you ever had a situation where you think about, I don't know, some new purchase, or you think about some activity that you want to do, and it wasn't even in your mind just a little while ago? Maybe it's a new vehicle or a new house, whatever it is. And you all of a sudden you can't stop thinking about it. You become obsessed with it for a little while. Our minds can become obsessed, and that's a good thing if it's obsessed on the right things, on our priorities, on our goals, on things that are most important to us. Now, I also do this on a quarterly basis, on a smaller level, but I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what I do. Maybe, again, link to that video, and I'd highly encourage you to practice thinking about your priorities on a consistent basis. Once a day is minimum. Twice a day is ideal. Once in the morning, once in the evening. But do this constantly. Think about your priorities constantly. And as you do that, you will automatically just become obsessed with it. That's how our mind works. There was a study done, and it's called the Tetris effect for the book, at least, that I was reading in it. But what it was is that they took students and they put them in a room and played Tetris for something like, it was a crazy amount of time. It was like for hours a day for 3 days straight or something like that over a weekend. And I'm sure I'm getting some of these numbers wrong, but the basis of the study was that these students spent time playing Tetris for hours on end for a period of time. And you know what they started noticing? They started noticing that when they would leave the building, or they'd go into the city or whatever, they would start trying, their mind would start trying to fit shapes together out of the buildings. And then whenever they'd start seeing Tetris patterns and everything, and how to fit these things together, because they focused on it so long, they became obsessed with it, and their subconscious mind was affected, and so now they were focused on it at all times, even if they didn't want to be. Well, the same thing is true for ourselves, and focusing on the things we want to. So what I do is I write down, I've got 9 areas of goals, and I focus on those 9 areas, and then even out of those, I say, what are the 1 or 2 areas that I want to focus on this year? And then I prioritize, and I plan, and I say, well, what am I going to do in order to reach my goals this year, or for the next 5 years, or whatever, right? And I start developing a plan, and then I think about that plan constantly. I reorganize that plan on a consistent basis. Ask myself, am I moving closer or not? And I think about this in the morning when I first wake up. I think about this at night before I go to bed. And you know what that does? It produces enormous amounts of focus. And now I'm constantly thinking about what I need to do. A really quick example of focus and how this works in the mind are these videos, these Mornings with Mark videos. A few people have asked me, because a few of my clients want to try similar ideas for their databases. And they've asked me, Mark, how do I come up with so many ideas? How do I come up with a new idea a day? Well, it's not all that hard. What you do is you think about the videos. And if you make a video every day, or if you make a couple of videos every day, if you're doing it on a consistent basis, your mind starts to see situations in life and every day that you can think of and put to work for yourself. The world becomes ideas for you because you're thinking about it constantly. This is what I encourage you to do today. Become obsessed. And this is not a very actionable item. Become obsessed. The way you become obsessed, and this is the actionable item, is think about what you want and then remind yourself about it constantly. Some people hold goal cards in their pockets. It's a great way to do it, but you've got to be in a habit of pulling it out and actually reading. It doesn't work for me because I don't actually pull it out and read it very often. Do what you need to. You probably know yourself well enough to know at least what doesn't work at times. But again, just like your favorite show or whatever, people think about it, people become obsessed about it because you think about it. Remind yourself of these things. Phones, whatever you do, notes, whatever you need to do, remind yourself constantly, focus on it constantly, and you will bring focus, that type of focus that you're bringing to that activity, to everyday life. You will think about the business, you will think about your goals, and you will work towards them on a consistent basis. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your day.